Always be closing. As a sales associate at a major Canadian electronics retailer, these were words I heard from my manager quite frequently. What do they mean? Well, basically it just means always sell. Whether your customer needs it, whether your customer wants it, just sell. This was partly why I chose to do the book, To Sell is Human, for my book review. It is by the author Daniel Pink, who authors several very, very excellent books, so I was definitely looking forward to reading this one. And I was not disappointed. This book introduces a new ABC for sales, and it's not always be closing, but rather attunement, buoyancy, and clarity. And after giving a brief overview of sales and its prevalence in our everyday lives, I'll be addressing every single one of those elements individually. So, sales. What's the relevance? Who's in sales anymore? Isn't that something from the 1950s? People knocked on your door, tried to sell you a vacuum cleaner? Well, you'd be surprised. Sales is actually quite prevalent in today's society as well. 1 in every 9 Americans is actually directly in the field of sales. Now you might think, well, 1 in every 9, that's still not that much, but that is more than the entire U.S. manufacturing industry. Additionally, new statistics show that 40%, I'm going to repeat that because that's pretty impressive, but 40% of the average time at work an employee spends selling. Now that might not make sense, but it doesn't necessarily mean selling a good or a service, but rather an idea, for instance. So for example, say a teacher. A teacher has to sell their students that what they're learning is valuable and going to help them in the future. Or a doctor. A doctor needs to sell their patient the fact that, hey, this treatment's really going to help you out. I recommend this one. So, yes, sales is everywhere, whether you see it or you realize it or not. So, that's where we're at today in terms of sales. It's very prevalent. But how did it get that way? Well, in the past, there were very structured types of different areas in which you could work. So, for instance, if you were an engineer, you stayed in the engineering department, that's all you did. But these days, especially due to the high level of business risks, employers are looking for people who are more well-rounded with varying sets of skills. And so sales grew in prevalence because no matter what industry you were in, sales ability really helped you out. It could help you get your ideas across to your boss, to other coworkers. It really helped you advance and grow in a company. So that's how sales got to where it is today. And now I'm going to get to the very, very interesting stuff of the book, which are the ABCs. Now the first letter, which is the A, stands for attunement. And this might seem like a bit of a strange word, but basically what it means is be in touch. It means be in harmony with your surroundings, but also with the person you're interacting with your customer. So definitely take into account the context that you're in. If you're selling fine wines, for example, you might not want to bring up how much you love rock music or things that might not go along with that. Additionally, be humble. If you come across as very powerful, you are not going to connect and you are not attuned to that particular customer. So don't try to be too powerful. Try to take things and look at them through your customer's perspective. In other words, get down to their level. The second letter, which is B, stands for buoyancy. Now, basically, this has several elements to it. The first one is being self-confident. So you want to come across as positive, but not too upbeat, because that's unrealistic. So you want to be positive, you want to be unflappable, and the main part of buoyancy is you really want to be able to handle rejection well. In sales, you're going to be rejected many, many, many times, and you have to learn how to accept the no. Accept that this is just a temporary setback, but we will still get to where we're going. Finally, clarity. Clarity basically means that you can help the customer see their problems in a new perspective, or maybe help discover problems they didn't even know they had, which in sales is the most valuable tool of all. It's being able to help your customers discover problems they didn't even know they had and solve them at the same time. So we talked a little bit about sales today, sales, where it's going, how it's changed, and we also talked about the new ABCs of sales, which are attunement, buoyancy, and clarity. I hope you find a chance to read this book and find it half as enjoyable as I did, because I very much liked it.